There is something quietly profound about walking. It is the first freedom we taste as children, and often, the last independence we fight to preserve as we age. After the age of 50, walking becomes more than a habit, it becomes a daily negotiation with the body, a conversation between joints, muscles, nerves, and time itself. And yet, in this seemingly simple act, there are subtle mistakes, almost invisible, that can slowly erode health rather than protect it. I want you to imagine, not just the act of walking, but the biology unfolding beneath it. Every step you take sends signals through your bones, reminding them to stay dense and strong. Your muscles contract rhythmically, helping regulate blood sugar, supporting metabolic balance. Your heart responds to the demand, adjusting its rhythm, strengthening its capacity. Even your brain participates, mapping balance, coordinating movement, preserving cognitive sharpness. Walking, when done well, is a full-body symphony. But when done poorly, repeated day after day, it becomes a quiet source of strain. One of the most common mistakes I observe is walking without awareness of posture. Many people, especially after years of sedentary work or habitual phone use, begin to lean forward slightly, the head drifting ahead of the spine. It seems harmless. But anatomically, this small shift changes everything. The spine is designed to stack vertically, distributing weight efficiently. When the head moves forward, the load on the neck and upper back increases significantly. Muscles that were meant to assist movement become overworked just to hold you upright. Over time, this leads to stiffness, fatigue, even nerve compression. But there is something deeper here. When posture collapses, breathing subtly changes. The chest cannot expand fully, the diaphragm cannot descend as effectively. Oxygen intake becomes slightly restricted. Not enough to notice immediately, but enough to matter over years. And so, a simple walk, meant to nourish your system, becomes slightly less efficient, slightly more draining. Another mistake is walking at a pace that is either too slow or too fast for the body's current condition. Many people assume that faster is always better, that pushing harder equates to better health. But the body after 50 is not the same as it was at 25. Recovery slows. Joint cartilage becomes thinner. The cardiovascular system still adapts, but it requires a more thoughtful approach. Walking too fast without proper conditioning can place excessive stress on the knees and hips. It can elevate heart rate beyond a sustainable zone, shifting the body into a state of strain rather than improvement. On the other hand, walking too slowly, without any challenge, fails to stimulate the systems that need activation. The muscles are not sufficiently engaged, the heart does not strengthen, and metabolic benefits remain limited. The body thrives in a specific range, a gentle challenge, not a punishment. There is a rhythm where breathing deepens but does not struggle, where the heart works but does not race uncontrollably. Finding this rhythm is less about discipline and more about listening. Then there is the mistake of neglecting footwear. It is surprisingly underestimated. The foot is a complex structure, composed of dozens of bones, ligaments, and muscles working together to absorb shock and maintain balance. With age, the natural cushioning of the foot diminishes. Arches may flatten, sensitivity may change. Wearing shoes that lack support, or that alter the natural alignment of the foot, can create a chain reaction. The ankles adjust, the knees compensate, the hips shift. What begins as a minor imbalance at the foot level can translate into discomfort or even injury higher up in the body. But beyond mechanics, there is something symbolic here. The foot is our connection to the ground, to stability, to reality itself. When that connection is unstable, the entire system feels it. Another quiet mistake is walking without engaging the upper body. Many people treat walking as something that only involves the legs. The arms hang loosely or remain still. But natural walking is a coordinated, cross-pattern movement. When the right leg steps forward, the left arm swings forward. This pattern is not accidental, it is neurologically efficient. It engages the core, stabilizes the spine, and distributes effort throughout the body. When the arms are inactive, the movement becomes less efficient. The lower body carries more load than necessary. The spine may experience more rotation stress. Energy expenditure becomes uneven. And interestingly, brain activation is slightly reduced, because coordinated movement patterns stimulate neural pathways that help maintain cognitive function. In this way, walking is not just physical exercise, it is neurological maintenance. There is also the mistake of ignoring pain signals. This is particularly important. Many individuals adopt a mindset of endurance, pushing through discomfort, believing it to be a sign of strength. But pain is not merely an obstacle, it is information. It is the body's way of signaling imbalance, inflammation, or potential injury. After 50, the margin for error becomes smaller. Recovery is not as forgiving. Ignoring persistent discomfort in the knees, hips, or lower back can lead to chronic conditions that are far more limiting than the original issue. The wise approach is not avoidance of effort, but intelligent adaptation, adjusting pace, surface, duration, or technique. Walking should feel like a collaboration with your body, not a battle against it. Another subtle but impactful mistake is walking on the same surface every day without variation. Hard concrete, for instance, transmits more impact force through the joints compared to softer surfaces like grass or dirt paths. Repeating the same mechanical pattern on the same surface creates repetitive stress. The body, while adaptable, also benefits from variation. Different surfaces challenge balance in different ways. They engage stabilizing muscles that might otherwise remain underused. This variability supports joint health and reduces the risk of overuse injuries. It also keeps the nervous system engaged, responsive, alive. There is a certain intelligence in diversity, not just in thought, but in movement. And finally, one of the most overlooked mistakes is walking without mental presence. The body moves, but the mind is elsewhere, caught in worries, distractions, or endless streams of information. While physical movement still provides benefits, something essential is lost. Walking, at its best, is a form of moving awareness. It is an opportunity for the mind and body to synchronize. When attention is present, posture improves naturally. Breathing becomes deeper. Steps become more deliberate. Stress levels decrease more effectively because the nervous system shifts toward a state of calm engagement. There is growing scientific understanding of how mindful movement influences the brain. It reduces cortisol levels, enhances mood-regulating neurotransmitters, and supports cognitive clarity. In a sense, mindful walking nourishes both the physical and psychological dimensions of health. Without this awareness, walking becomes mechanical, useful, but incomplete. As we reflect on these patterns, it becomes clear that the body after 50 is not fragile, it is responsive. It does not demand perfection, but it does require attention. Small adjustments, made consistently, can transform walking from a routine activity into a powerful tool for longevity. There is a quiet dignity in learning to walk well again. Not as a child learning for the first time, but as an adult rediscovering the depth of something once taken for granted. Each step becomes an act of care. Each movement becomes intentional. And perhaps that is the deeper message hidden within all of this. Health is not built through dramatic changes alone. It is shaped in the subtle details, the angle of the spine, the rhythm of the breath, the awareness of each step. These are small things, almost invisible. But over time, they define the difference between decline and resilience. The body is always speaking. In posture, in movement, in sensation. Walking is one of the clearest languages it uses. And when we learn to listen, to truly listen, we begin to move not just forward, but wisely. And in that wisdom, there is strength. When we talk about posture, it is easy to reduce it to a simple instruction: stand straight, keep your shoulders back, lift your chin. But posture is not just an external appearance, it is a living, dynamic relationship between your bones, muscles, and breath. Especially after the age of 50, posture becomes one of the most important yet overlooked factors influencing how your body feels, moves, and functions every single day. At its core, good posture is about alignment. The human body is designed in such a way that when the head, spine, and pelvis are properly aligned, the weight of the body is distributed evenly. This means that no single joint or muscle group is overloaded. The neck does not strain to hold the head, the shoulders do not tighten unnecessarily, and the lower back does not bear excessive pressure. Instead, the body works as a unified system, where each part supports the other with minimal effort. However, as we age, subtle changes begin to occur. Muscles may weaken, especially those that support the spine. Daily habits, like sitting for long periods, looking down at phones, or leaning forward while walking, gradually reshape our posture. The head begins to drift forward, the shoulders round inward, and the natural curve of the spine becomes distorted. This shift may seem small, almost insignificant at first, but its effects are cumulative. From a joint perspective, poor posture changes the mechanics of movement. When the body is not aligned, joints are forced to operate outside their optimal range. For example, a forward head posture increases the load on the cervical spine dramatically. What the neck is designed to support comfortably becomes a constant burden. Similarly, rounded shoulders can affect the shoulder joints, leading to stiffness, reduced mobility, and even chronic pain over time. The lower body is not spared either. Misalignment in the upper body can shift the center of gravity, causing the hips, knees, and ankles to compensate. This compensation often leads to uneven wear and tear on joints, increasing the risk of conditions like osteoarthritis. Walking, which should be a low-impact and restorative activity, can become a source of gradual joint stress if posture is neglected. But posture does not only affect the skeletal system, it has a profound influence on breathing. The way you hold your body directly impacts how your lungs function. When posture is upright and balanced, the chest can expand fully, and the diaphragm, the primary muscle responsible for breathing, can move freely. This allows for deeper, more efficient breaths, ensuring that oxygen is delivered effectively throughout the body. In contrast, poor posture compresses the chest cavity. When the shoulders slump forward and the spine curves excessively, the space available for the lungs to expand is reduced. The diaphragm cannot descend properly, and breathing becomes shallow. This kind of breathing may go unnoticed because it happens gradually, but its effects are significant. Reduced oxygen intake can lead to fatigue, decreased endurance, and even affect mental clarity. There is also a subtle connection between posture, breathing, and the nervous system. Deep, steady breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for relaxation and recovery. When posture restricts breathing, the body may remain in a more stressed, alert state. Over time, this can contribute to chronic tension, both physically and mentally. Another important aspect to consider is energy efficiency. Good posture allows the body to move with less effort. When alignment is correct, muscles work in harmony rather than in conflict. Energy is conserved, and movements feel smoother and more natural. Poor posture, on the other hand, creates unnecessary resistance within the body. Muscles have to work harder to stabilize and compensate, leading to quicker fatigue even during simple activities like walking. Improving posture does not require perfection, it requires awareness. It begins with small adjustments, lifting the chest slightly, aligning the ears over the shoulders, allowing the arms to swing naturally while walking. Over time, these small changes retrain the body, strengthening the muscles that support proper alignment and reducing strain on those that have been overworked. In many ways, posture reflects how we relate to our own bodies. It is not just about standing tall, it is about creating space within the body for movement, for breath, and for balance. After 50, this becomes even more meaningful. The goal is not to force the body into rigidity, but to guide it back into alignment where it can function with ease. When posture improves, joints experience less stress, movement becomes more fluid, and breathing becomes deeper and more nourishing. It is a quiet transformation, but a powerful one that supports not just physical health, but overall vitality and well-being. When we think about walking for health, the first instinct is often to focus on distance or speed. Many people believe that the faster they walk, the healthier they become. Others take the opposite approach, walking very slowly and assuming that any movement is enough. But the truth lies somewhere in between. The balance of walking pace is not just a matter of preference, it is a biological conversation between effort and sustainability, especially after the age of 50. The human body operates on adaptation. It responds to the level of challenge it is given. If the challenge is too low, the body has no reason to improve. Muscles remain underused, the heart does not strengthen, and metabolism stays relatively unchanged. On the other hand, if the challenge is too high, the body shifts into a state of strain. Instead of building strength, it begins to accumulate fatigue, stress, and even microinjuries. Walking pace plays a central role in finding this delicate balance. At a very slow pace, walking becomes more of a gentle movement than an exercise stimulus. While it is still beneficial for joint mobility and basic circulation, it does not significantly engage the cardiovascular system. The heart rate remains low, and the muscles are not challenged enough to grow stronger or more efficient. Over time, this can limit the health benefits of walking, particularly for individuals who are aiming to improve endurance, manage weight, or support metabolic health. However, increasing the pace without awareness can create its own problems. Walking too fast, especially without proper conditioning, can place excessive stress on the joints. The knees, hips, and ankles absorb more impact with each step. After 50, when joint cartilage may already be thinning and recovery is slower, this added stress can lead to discomfort or injury. The body may respond with inflammation, stiffness, or even pain that discourages consistent activity. There is also the cardiovascular aspect to consider. A pace that is too fast can push the heart rate beyond a comfortable and sustainable range. Instead of building endurance gradually, the body may enter a state of overexertion. Breathing becomes labored, and the walk turns into a struggle rather than a supportive activity. When this happens regularly, it can lead to burnout or avoidance, which ultimately reduces overall physical activity. The ideal walking pace is often described as moderate, but that word can feel vague. In practical terms, it is a pace where your breathing becomes deeper but remains controlled. You can still speak in short sentences, but you feel that your body is working. This level of effort stimulates the heart, engages the muscles, and encourages the body to adapt, without overwhelming it. What makes this balance even more important after 50 is the body's changing physiology. Muscle mass naturally declines with age, a process known as sarcopenia. Bone density may decrease, and joint flexibility can reduce. At the same time, the body becomes less efficient at recovering from high levels of stress. This means that the margin between beneficial effort and harmful strain becomes narrower. A balanced walking pace respects these changes. It provides enough challenge to maintain muscle strength, support bone health, and improve cardiovascular function, while still allowing the body to recover and adapt positively. It becomes less about pushing limits and more about working with the body's current capacity. Another important dimension of walking pace is consistency. A sustainable pace is one that you can maintain regularly, not just for a few days, but for months and years. Health is not built in a single intense session, it is the result of repeated, manageable efforts over time. A pace that feels slightly challenging but comfortable encourages this consistency. It turns walking into a habit rather than a task. There is also a psychological component. When the pace is right, walking feels satisfying. It creates a sense of rhythm, almost like a moving meditation. The body and mind begin to synchronize. But when the pace is too fast, the experience can feel rushed and stressful. When it is too slow, it may feel disengaging. Finding the right pace allows walking to become not just beneficial, but enjoyable. Listening to the body is essential in this process. Some days, energy levels are higher, and the body can handle a slightly faster pace. On other days, a slower pace may be more appropriate. This flexibility is not a weakness, it is a sign of awareness. It allows you to adjust without forcing the body into patterns that may not suit its current state. In many ways, walking pace reflects a deeper principle of health, balance. Not too little, not too much, but just enough to encourage growth without causing harm. It is a reminder that the body does not respond well to extremes. It thrives in a space where effort and ease coexist. When this balance is found, walking becomes more than exercise. It becomes a sustainable practice, one that supports the heart, protects the joints, and aligns with the natural rhythm of the body. Over time, this steady, thoughtful approach builds resilience, energy, and a sense of well-being that is both lasting and deeply rooted. When we think about walking for health, our attention often goes to distance, time, or even posture, but rarely do we pause to consider the quiet foundation beneath every step, the feet. Yet, the feet are not passive structures. They are intricate, responsive systems made up of bones, joints, ligaments, and muscles, all working together to support the entire weight of the body. After the age of 50, the importance of proper footwear and correct foot alignment becomes even more critical, because the body becomes less forgiving of repeated mechanical stress. Each step you take begins at the foot. It is the first point of contact with the ground, the place where force is absorbed and redistributed upward through the body. Ideally, this process happens smoothly. The heel touches down, the weight rolls through the midfoot, and then pushes off through the toes. This natural sequence allows the body to move efficiently while minimizing strain. But when footwear is inappropriate or alignment is compromised, this sequence is disrupted. Over time, the structure of the foot itself can change. The natural cushioning provided by fat pads beneath the heel and forefoot may thin. Arches may begin to flatten, and flexibility can decrease. These changes are normal, but they make the foot more sensitive to external support, or the lack of it. Shoes that once felt comfortable may no longer provide the stability or shock absorption that the body now requires. Improper footwear is one of the most common and underestimated contributors to joint discomfort. Shoes that are too flat, too hard, or poorly fitted fail to absorb impact effectively. As a result, the force of each step travels upward with greater intensity, affecting the ankles, knees, hips, and even the lower back. On the other hand, overly cushioned or unstable shoes can interfere with balance, making the foot work harder to maintain control. Alignment plays an equally important role. The foot is designed to maintain a certain structure as it bears weight. When alignment is correct, the load is distributed evenly across the foot. But when the foot rolls too far inward or outward, this balance is lost. Even a small misalignment, repeated over thousands of steps, can create a chain reaction throughout the body. The ankles adjust, the knees shift, and the hips compensate. What begins as a minor imbalance at the foot can gradually lead to discomfort or dysfunction in larger joints. This interconnectedness is one of the most fascinating aspects of the human body. No part functions in isolation. The position of the foot influences the alignment of the entire skeletal system. Proper footwear, therefore, is not just about comfort, it is about maintaining this alignment and supporting the body's natural mechanics. There is also a neurological dimension to consider. The feet are rich in sensory receptors. These receptors provide the brain with constant feedback about balance, pressure, and movement. When footwear is too rigid or poorly designed, it can dull this feedback. The brain receives less accurate information, and balance may be subtly affected. This becomes particularly important with age, as the risk of falls increases and stability becomes a priority. Good footwear does not need to be complex or expensive, but it should respect the natural shape and function of the foot. It should provide enough cushioning to absorb impact, enough support to maintain alignment, and enough flexibility to allow natural movement. A proper fit is essential, neither too tight nor too loose, so that the foot can function without restriction. At the same time, awareness of how the foot meets the ground can make a meaningful difference. Walking with attention to how weight is distributed, feeling the transition from heel to toe, can help reinforce proper alignment. It is a subtle practice, but over time, it retrains the body to move more efficiently. After 50, these details matter more because the cumulative effects of small imbalances become more visible. The body has adapted to years of movement patterns, some beneficial, others less so. Correcting foot alignment and choosing appropriate footwear is not about perfection, it is about reducing unnecessary strain and giving the body a more supportive foundation. There is something deeply symbolic about this. The feet represent our connection to the ground, to stability, to movement forward. When that connection is supported and aligned, everything above it benefits. Movement becomes smoother, joints experience less stress, and walking regains its natural ease. In the end, proper footwear and foot alignment are not minor considerations, they are essential elements of sustainable health. They remind us that even the smallest points of contact can have the greatest impact, and that caring for the foundation of the body is one of the most practical and powerful ways to protect its future. When most people think about walking, they imagine it as a lower body activity, something driven mainly by the legs, with the rest of the body simply following along. But this view is incomplete. Walking, in its most natural and efficient form, is a full-body movement. It is a coordinated rhythm where the arms, core, and legs work together in a pattern that is both biomechanically efficient and neurologically enriching. After the age of 50, engaging the whole body during walking becomes not just beneficial, but essential for maintaining strength, balance, and overall vitality. If you observe a person walking with ease and efficiency, you will notice a subtle harmony in their movement. As one leg steps forward, the opposite arm swings naturally. This cross pattern is not accidental, it is deeply wired into the nervous system. It reflects how the brain coordinates movement across the body, linking the left and right hemispheres through motion. When this pattern is active, walking becomes smoother, more balanced, and less taxing on any single part of the body. However, many people gradually lose this natural coordination. Arms may hang still at the sides, or movement becomes restricted due to stiffness in the shoulders or upper back. Sometimes this happens unconsciously, especially in individuals who spend long hours sitting or using devices. Other times, it is the result of habit, walking without awareness, allowing the body to fall into less efficient patterns. When the arms are not engaged, the lower body takes on more work than it was designed to handle alone. The legs must generate more force to maintain forward motion, which can lead to quicker fatigue. The spine may also experience increased rotational stress, because the natural counterbalance provided by the arms is missing. Over time, this imbalance can contribute to discomfort in the lower back or hips. Engaging the arms, even in a simple and relaxed way, changes the entire dynamic of walking. The swinging motion helps distribute effort across the body. It assists with momentum, making each step feel lighter and more fluid. It also stabilizes the torso, reducing unnecessary strain on the spine. This small adjustment can significantly improve both efficiency and comfort. Equally important is the role of the core. The core is not just the abdominal muscles, it includes a network of muscles around the abdomen, lower back, and pelvis that work together to stabilize the body. During walking, the core acts as a central support system. It keeps the torso upright, controls movement, and ensures that energy is transferred effectively between the upper and lower body. After 50, core strength often declines if it is not actively maintained. This can lead to a less stable walking pattern. The body may sway more, posture may collapse slightly, and movements can feel less controlled. Engaging the core does not mean tensing the body rigidly. Instead, it involves a gentle activation, a sense of support in the midsection that allows the spine to remain aligned and steady. When the core is active, the benefits extend beyond stability. It helps protect the lower back from excessive strain, improves balance, and enhances overall coordination. Walking becomes more than just stepping forward, it becomes a controlled, integrated movement where each part of the body contributes. There is also an interesting connection between full-body engagement and energy efficiency. When movement is distributed across multiple muscle groups, no single area becomes overburdened. This reduces fatigue and allows for longer, more comfortable walks. It also encourages better circulation, as more muscles are involved in the activity, supporting blood flow throughout the body. From a neurological perspective, engaging the whole body during walking stimulates the brain in meaningful ways. Coordinated movement patterns activate neural pathways that are associated with balance, timing, and spatial awareness. This is particularly valuable with age, as maintaining these neural connections supports cognitive function and reduces the risk of falls. Another subtle but important aspect is how full-body engagement influences awareness. When the arms are moving and the core is active, it becomes easier to stay present in the movement. The walk feels more intentional. This awareness naturally improves posture, breathing, and rhythm, creating a more holistic experience. It is worth noting that this does not require exaggerated or forced movements. The goal is not to turn walking into a performance, but to restore its natural mechanics. A gentle arm swing, a stable and supported core, and a relaxed yet engaged posture are enough to transform the quality of movement. Over time, these small adjustments create lasting changes. Muscles become stronger, coordination improves, and the body learns to move more efficiently. Walking becomes less about effort and more about flow, a continuous, balanced interaction between different parts of the body. In many ways, engaging the whole body during walking is a reminder that health is not built through isolated actions. The body is an integrated system, where each part influences the others. When movement reflects this integration, it becomes more effective, more sustainable, and more aligned with the way the body is naturally designed to function. Walking is often treated as a purely physical activity, a way to burn calories, improve circulation, or keep the joints moving. But there is another dimension to walking that is quieter, less visible, yet deeply powerful. It is the quality of attention we bring to each step. Mindful walking is not about changing the act itself, it is about changing the awareness within the act. And after the age of 50, this shift in awareness can have a meaningful impact on both mental and physical well-being. The human mind has a natural tendency to wander. Even while the body is moving, the mind may be occupied with past events, future worries, or endless internal dialogue. In such moments, walking becomes automatic. The legs move, the path continues, but the experience is fragmented. The body and mind are not fully connected. While there are still physical benefits, something essential is missing, the sense of integration. Mindful walking gently restores this connection. It invites you to place your attention on the present moment, on the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the subtle movement of your arms, and the flow of your breath. This does not require intense concentration or effort. It is a soft awareness, a quiet noticing of what is already happening. From a physical perspective, this awareness has immediate effects. When attention is present, posture often improves naturally. The spine becomes more aligned, the shoulders relax, and the head finds a balanced position. Breathing deepens without force, allowing more oxygen to enter the movements become smoother and more coordinated, reducing unnecessary strain on joints and muscles. There is also a significant impact on the nervous system. The body operates through different states, one associated with alertness and stress, and another with relaxation and recovery. Mindful walking tends to activate the latter. As attention settles into the rhythm of movement and breath, the nervous system begins to calm. Heart rate stabilizes, muscle tension decreases, and the body shifts toward a state that supports healing and balance. This is particularly important in modern life, where chronic stress has become almost constant. Even low levels of ongoing stress can affect sleep, digestion, immunity, and overall energy. Mindful walking offers a simple yet effective way to interrupt this pattern. It creates a space where the body can reset, even if only for a short period each day. The mental benefits are equally profound. When the mind is anchored in the present moment, it becomes less entangled in repetitive thoughts. Worries lose some of their intensity, not because they disappear, but because attention is no longer feeding them continuously. This can bring a sense of clarity and lightness, making it easier to think more calmly and respond more thoughtfully to challenges. Over time, this practice can also support cognitive health. Engaging awareness during movement stimulates areas of the brain involved in attention, coordination, and memory. It encourages neural flexibility, the brain's ability to adapt and form new connections. This becomes increasingly valuable with age, as maintaining cognitive function is an important aspect of overall well-being. There is also an emotional dimension to mindful walking. When you walk with awareness, you become more attuned to your internal state. You may notice tension you had not recognized, or a sense of calm that emerges unexpectedly. This awareness creates an opportunity, not to judge or analyze, but simply to observe. And in that observation, there is often a quiet sense of acceptance. Nature, when present, can deepen this experience. The feeling of, the sound of leaves, the changing light, all of these can become part of the awareness. They do not need to be extraordinary. Even simple surroundings can provide a sense of grounding when approached with attention. This connection to the environment can enhance mood and create a subtle sense of belonging. It is important to understand that mindful walking is not about perfection. The mind will wander, that is its nature. The practice lies in gently bringing it back, again and again, without frustration. Each return to the present moment strengthens the connection between awareness and movement. What makes mindful walking particularly powerful is its accessibility. It does not require special equipment, extra time, or a specific setting. It can be practiced during a regular daily walk, transforming an ordinary routine into a more meaningful experience. After 50, when the body begins to change and life may bring new challenges, this quality of awareness becomes even more valuable. It supports not only physical health but also emotional resilience. It helps create a relationship with the body that is based on listening rather than forcing, on cooperation rather than control. In this way, mindful walking becomes more than just movement. It becomes a form of quiet care, a way of attending to both the body and the mind at the same time. Each step carries not only the weight of the body, but also the possibility of presence, balance, and a deeper sense of well-being that grows steadily with practice.